All right, good afternoon. I'm back with another video. What I'm gonna talk about here, I don't know. Naturally, I'm sure you know what's on my mind. It's the only thing I really think of these days. I don't really have a lot going on other than this situation. And let's talk money. So we talked about gambling and casinos and stuff last time, and that was good. To continue on, I mean, what can we really talk about? You know what? Here's a big thing about money. There's less talk. People don't talk as much about it, and there's more doing. You have to be actually doing things versus relaxing and watching how to win money. Now, here's the difference with this channel. I didn't start off with money. I started off with everything else. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of information and different topics all the time, different ideas. But I made so many videos, by the way. I made so many that I just talked myself out. I've talked about 95% of my life. You know what I mean? And I've talked so much about so much content that I have not really much left to talk about at all. Money is a real thing, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But remember, money, it's about actually doing stuff. Now, I wouldn't say I made a mistake. I had a theory in life early on, and it's because of the way I grew up and stuff. I was really hesitant or reluctant to do action. Not that I was scared of the action. It was just that I had not developed enough to take certain actions that I can take now. You know what I mean? I didn't have enough wisdom in me to take actions, and I really wanted to make sure that I didn't screw it up. You know what I mean? So I really want to be sure, like, what action should I take? Now, this caused me to hide even more. Now, I already had a shell, but I was also voluntarily hiding. You know what I mean? Trying to gain as much wisdom as I could, because I knew the day would come. One day, the day would come where I couldn't hold it anymore and I couldn't take it anymore. I'd say, that's it. It's time to fly. I'm a fly. And that was the day I robbed the bank. It was just like, man, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of this life, the people I know, what my life is like right now, or the people I talk to at least. Like, man, it's time to take some action. It's time to fly away, man. It's time to fly away from this shit. You know what I mean? But what were we getting at? Yeah. So I had a very and the truth is that most of the time, if you're looking to make money, or you're looking to do anything, achieve anything, you have to put yourself in the way of danger. You have to put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Just like gambling, like, you got to risk something to gain something. You know what I mean? And you don't want to be doing, I didn't want to be doing that at level one. You know what I mean? But eventually I pushed myself and I put myself into that position, and I started growing right away. And I was like, wow, man, like, I know so much today that I didn't at least consciously know about. You know what I mean? But the thing was, when you really want to make money, it's good to listen to things like that. Now there was a lot of self-development, learn how to make money stuff that I listened to, and it was just garbage. You know what I mean? Most of it is garbage. If you really want a good idea, watch something special, right? Get an idea of money, and then put yourself into that position. Once you start putting yourself in that position, you have opportunities to make money. You know what I mean? That's when money making begins, when you put yourself into that opportunity. I always claimed to be an American, or I claimed that I was more American than I was from Canada. You know what I mean? And what was my first step before growth was robbing a bank, man. You know what I mean? I wanted to prove that I was from a different cloth than all these other guys and girls that were around me. You know what I mean? I wanted to prove that I was way better, and I was willing to take whatever action there was, no matter how dangerous or consequential, in order to prove that and to put myself into that place. Now, unintentionally, what I really did is put myself in a position for growth, and that's what you have to do for money. You have to start taking action. Now, if you are hesitant or reluctant to take action, start with smaller actions. Start with getting a job. I got a part-time job selling men's shoes and working with men's clothing and selling men's clothing and stuff. You know what I mean? Now, they were good. They were decent brands. You know what I mean? They weren't exactly the high-end stuff, but some of them, they had a little bit of high-end stuff that was phenomenal. I mean, I mean, expensive and amazing quality stuff. They did have that, and they do carry that because they what's the word? They what to that clientele? They what to that clientele? What do they do? That it's a business term. Like they. Anyways, you know what I'm trying to say, and you guys can probably fill in that word. They're trying to appeal. It's not appeal. They're trying to get that clientele as well. But start with that. Put yourself in positions where you have to be in a social situation where you have to sell or something. You know what I mean? You have an objective. There's all these types of people coming in to buy stuff from you, and you're interacting with them constantly, talking to them, getting them the stuff, whatever it is, trying to sign them up for an instant credit card, whatever the deal is. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing to sign people up for credit cards. Don't think that it's evil. There's nothing evil about it. Look, it's one thing if somebody has an issue, but if you got somebody who has a Visa from here, a MasterCard from here, a this, a blah, 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 all that stuff, dude, they want that instant credit card. You know what I mean? But our instant credit card from our store went up to like $25,000. You know what I mean? And the advantage of it was that everything that you bought, you would almost always get a discount on it by using your credit card. You know what I mean? And that was it. So people wanted to sign up for the credit card. If you're shopping here even like 4 times a year, get an instant credit card. This is a gigantic place. You can get almost anything here, man. You know what I mean? Jewelry, clothing, men's, women's, whatever it is. You get everything, man. Right? So start by start with small steps, and then slowly move them up. All right. I'll tell you honestly, I have been criticized for taking big steps all the time. When I started certain sports, there were guys who made a point of, I'm taking baby steps. I'm not going to do things like him. I'm going to take baby steps. Because I just jumped, I just went from one to the other thing. Because I like being put into positions where I was forced to grow, and I would grow just enough to survive, I just had to make my survival more difficult. So I might talk a lot of shit out there to make enemies in order to put myself in a bad position where I have to learn to survive. You know what I mean? You get kind of what I'm talking about? Start with small steps. I started with that job, and then that job led me to go into, started going to nightclubs by myself and bars by myself. Pretty soon I started picking up girls. I finally landed a girl, pretty girl, nice girl, and then and we had a good time, and then it was on to the next one and the next one. And then it ended with the last one when I went to Colombia. And when I came back, I was not interested in girls or parties anymore. It was on to the next level one. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, a lot of times you say you don't know what people's situations are like. You know what I mean? We don't always know what people's situations are like. You know what I mean? We don't always know what people's situations are like, man. So anyways, moving forth. So it was that, and then I stopped the parties, and I was just I moved to I started going to farmland to buy animals, man. Like slaughter animals, get them and eat the meat. And I explained that to you why I did that, because when I went to Colombia, I first went to a almost village-like town. Where the mountains were, where they had chickens and stuff just walking around and stuff. A beautiful place. I mean, people thought it was shitty, but to me, like, I went to the countryside, basically, the town and the country and the village, and I absolutely loved it. I found out that I was more of a country boy than I was a city boy. Even though I lived in the city all my life, I loved how the countryside was. Later on, I went to another city, which was a big city with high rises and all that stuff. And I didn't like it at all. I was missing the countryside, man. I was like, dude, the countryside is amazing. The countryside, it's also quite dangerous. And I had been, I realized back, I was like, oh my God, they were trying to kill me or kidnap me. You know what I mean? Or they were trying to kill me or something. They came up with this idea and all that. And then they were trying to hook me up with with a Colombian girl or something so that they could get citizenship. It's crazy, But other than that, I love the town and the village. I love the animals. I love all that stuff. I love everything about it. It made me realize I was a country boy. I came back and all I thought about was a country, man. That's all I thought about, and that's all I cared about. And then one day I was like, okay, it's time to start moving on. Let's rob a bank, man. Let's go. Let's do this shit. The time is right. They fucked us over. We got this card to use, and we're gonna use it. And this is the best card that I can put on right now. So let's go put this card in. Just struggling, and then finally hitting a point that I never thought I'd hit. Yeah, I thought I could get money. I thought I could get anything in the world, but I never thought I'd be out of that mode, man. I never thought I'd be out of that shell, and I made it, man. In the most unlikely situations and circumstances, So that's the situation. Start with small steps, and then get there. I would not recommend doing any bank robberies or anything like that. If you want to go to college, go to college. You don't even have to finish, but finish if you don't have a job. If you get a job, maybe you can leave it, but just take small steps and get into it, and then do your thing. But I'll tell you right now, if you're unfamiliar with jumping, if you're unfamiliar with big steps, if you're unfamiliar with being extraordinary in any class, know that the top is not for you, and to be one of the strongest is not for you, and you are not bred or made or even voluntarily able to reach something like that. Leave it to the big boys. Go play some games. Am I that's right. I'm saying good afternoon, by the way. Good afternoon.